guys. Welcome back to another episode of Continuously Refined. I'm Shayna,
And I'm Sicily.
and today we are really going to be giving you a life update on what we have been up to the last 2 months, six
Yeah.
weeks. We have been traveling around, finishing up school for the year, and really just trying to focus in on hitting all of the health stuff that we've been implementing in our daily lives, but really what that looks like at for us as we've traveled. And then we also really want to touch on how we managed life in the dorms, what that looked like for us with our eating restrictions, going through our health stuff. So we'll kind of wrap up our episode with that at the end. But the first thing we want to hit on is our spring break trip. And we had the most amazing time in Florida. Sis, do you kind of want to kick us off with what that trip looked like and how we handled everything?
Yeah. So I think last time we talked to you guys about it, we were going into it and we didn't really know exactly what to expect because we were staying with my grandparents. So you're staying at a house, you're not really sure how breakfast and how food's going to be. And they had been great about getting us different snacks and food um, beforehand. And then we also knew we'd be eating out a lot and we'd also be drinking while we were on spring break. So I think we definitely are both a little nervous as to how we were going to navigate it and how food was going to be. I'd been to Fort Lauderdale quite a few times, but you still just, you never know. It's a lot of Mexican. How is that going to react with your stomach and things like that? But I'd say overall it was pretty good. And that it wasn't too hard there to find good options. We ate at a lot of not like super nice restaurants, but definitely nicer in order
Yes,
to be able to find good food.
good options. And I'd say hitting on anytime you're traveling, the biggest thing is bringing snacks, at
Yeah.
least making sure in the mornings you can have a protein bar. So if you are
Mhm.
out on the go, you're still getting in a little bit of food. Choosing those cleaner protein bar brands is the best. I always will pack too, like a little bag of almonds or Chomp's beef sticks, some Simple Mills crackers, just easy things that I know if I'm out and about, I can grab them.
Yeah.
And then being able to go to the grocery store too beforehand, whether that's getting Instacart dropped off at your hotel or Airbnb. So you can have some fresh fruit in the morning, rolls of turkey, breakfast. Like we were able to make eggs with like a sausage or a bacon and some fruit in the morning. So that
Yeah.
really helped us. And then we were kind of out and about all day long.
Hmm. Yeah, we would normally eat lunch and I guess two dinners we ate in, and the other two we ate out. But like I said, we are strategic about the restaurants that we pick so that we know that we can eat at them. And we always there's certain go-to meals I feel like for me, I know I can always get a burger without a bun. Like that's an easy, normally like really safe option. Normally like tacos are a pretty safe option with like a corn tortilla. Like there's like the few like meals or like a salad. Like there's like kind of those three things are the main things I'll look at on menus to be like, oh, this is a really great option. Like I know I can eat here.
Yeah, and before making our dinner reservations, we also always researched the restaurant and looked at the menu beforehand. But like you said, even that first day, right when we got off the plane and your grandparents took us to that restaurant, we knew we could eat a burger.
Yeah.
And that was just like a super chill restaurant on the beach, but we knew burger and fries, boom,
Yeah.
super
Yeah, that's a
easy.
great
So
point.
I'd say anyway with traveling, I mean, you pack your snacks, do some research on your restaurants, and I love good food. Like that, I practice myself on making sure
Hmm.
wherever we are going, we're going to go get good food. And so I will do all the research ahead of time
Yeah.
based on the location and where we can get our reservation, but also what has good food. I look at the reviews. We know, I feel
Yeah.
like we know how to pick a good place.
Hmm. I would agree. Protein bars are definitely a go-to for me on trips. I bring at least one for every day that I'm there. So like when we went to Florida, I brought one for all like 5 days that we were there, 4 days, whatever it ended up being. So that I know I can have one on like the plane there, on the plane home, but then I also have one for breakfast, like in the mornings. I never try to eat more than one protein bar a day, but I always bring enough for me to
You
have
want to make
every day
sure
breakfast.
you're at least eating something, which is
Yeah.
really good. And I think a protein bar is a great substitute for a breakfast if you're traveling.
Yes. Yeah.
Wouldn't recommend it on the day to day. Like if you can eat a meal for sure, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
And then we kind of did the exact same thing when we went to Stagecoach.
Yep.
And we didn't, well, we ate in. I guess we ate our breakfast in and our lunch in.
Yes.
Um, but that was like one of the best weekends of my entire life.
Oh, it was awesome. It was so great. But it's definitely one that's harder for food and drink because one, the menus aren't descriptive. Like you don't really know exactly what you're getting and you don't know what they're using to make it. And like I remember we got like a burger and we said like no bun and then they still gave it to us on a bun. So we just took off the bun. So you do have to be really careful, I think, at things like that. And you just kind of like I was taking more supplements and like reinforcing my stomach with more things because I knew that it would be worse because I didn't even know like the drinks necessarily, like the alcohol that they were using. Like there's just specific things that you don't necessarily know, which I think made Stagecoach a little bit harder, but the breakfast and lunch parts of Stagecoach were easy.
That weekend, I'd say, was one of like the hardest times traveling. Being
Mm-hmm.
at the festival, you're there all day. I think over the span of the 3 days, I ate a burger 3 times and I ate tacos 3 times because
Yeah.
that's what they had available. Um, so you definitely try not to be too picky. You kind of eat what you have.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, hope that it's not too greasy. That was the biggest thing for me is just the grease, but you're
Mm-hmm.
going to get that at any festival.
Yeah.
And then the drinks were a big thing. We're 21, okay, so we can legally drink. Um, I'm always opting for the quote unquote cleanest drink, which for me, my go-tos are vodka and tequila sodas with a lime. I
Yep.
know that they're as clean as I can get with no added sugar to try to decrease that hangover the next morning and also
Mm-hmm.
not upset my stomach too much with the added sugars and artificial flavorings. So when it comes to alcohol, if I'm going to be drinking, those are my drink of choice.
Yeah, I would agree. I'll mix in like a vodka-based seltzer every once in a while too, but not the ones, not the vodka ones, but um, they have like the other stuff.
Just it's
Like,
just like alcohol. It literally just is
yeah,
alcohol, and you have no idea what you're
I
drinking.
forget there's like a term for it, but yeah, you don't know what's in it is essentially what I'm trying to get at. And so I'll go with sometimes the vodka-based, like a high noon or a neutral or something like that. But for the most part, the vodka soda slime are just those are the great option and definitely the safest bet for your stomach and for your overall just like health, well-being.
And as much as my doctors and myself would love to stay away from alcohol, and I really do decrease it a lot. I'm like, okay, I'll have one drink when we go out, or I won't drink this week because I know I'll be drinking a lot next week. And I'm definitely should be decreasing that for overall hormone health. But we're in college, we want to have a good time. And so we'll have a few drinks here and there. And those are the cleanest options for what we choose.
And it's definitely hard when we plan trips that are kind of around, not necessarily around drinking, but very drinking like inducive.
Heavy and it's hard. Like I really, really struggle with the balance of okay, we're gonna go to a frat party on Saturday night and I'm not gonna drink. And it's
Right.
okay. But now I have to explain to people like, hey, why aren't you drinking? Like, are you okay? And like it's just a common norm at our age and the school that we go to, or when we go to these festivals or spring breaks and we're going into bars, like you're supposed to drink,
Right.
but that doesn't mean you have to. And it's something that I've really been struggling with and trying to find a balance at of it's okay to drink on certain nights and not others and tell people, hey, I'm just not going to drink tonight. So definitely something hard, but there are a lot of people who are also going through it and who choose not to drink too.
Yeah, true. And then our last trip that we just went on this past weekend was we went to Nashville with our moms. That
Ooh,
was so much fun. Just like an awesome weekend. We're definitely tired. We're ready to be home, but it was such a great
if you
weekend.
hear it, if you can hear it in my voice,
Yeah,
we
no, I
sang
feel
our
like my
hearts
voice is
away.
going.
Yeah, country music is our all-time favorite.
Yeah,
I still have bags under my eyes. We were out on Broadway 3 nights in a row till like 1 a.m. every single night with our moms. They rallied. Those moms rallied.
they did. Yeah.
So that was fun. But again, another trip that we had to navigate, and we never ate in once. We were always eating
Yeah.
out, drinking. And so just managing that, got some snacks at the grocery store, had our protein bars, and again, really researched those restaurants ahead of time to make sure there was some dish, something
Mm.
that we could eat on there that was gluten and dairy free.
Yeah. Yeah, Nashville was definitely, it was harder for me. I think that my stomach's in just a weird place right now with like so many trips and transitioning. And even today I was like I ate breakfast and my stomach was hurting after, and I was like, what the heck? Like I'm so over it. Like it like bothering me this weekend. And then I was thinking about how like one of my triggers of like anxiety and stuff is change. And like
Mm,
we went from ending school to going right to Nashville, then to coming right home. And it just is like a weird transition. And I was like, that makes so much sense as to why my stomach has been so bad. And like even I think it might be hormone related too, but over the weekend, like it definitely I struggled, and like I wanted to be drinking and partying and like doing it all, but my stomach wouldn't allow me to get there. And so that part of Nashville was hard. I think the food was really good, and we ate at a lot of really nice restaurants, which was awesome. And I never felt like the food part was a struggle, but the drinking part I think was definitely hard of like, oh, I also like would love to get a fun cocktail, but that would end up hurting my stomach. Yeah, so that was hard. Like on, was it Saturday night? Yeah, our last night there, my stomach hurt like so badly after dinner that I ended up leaving like the bar early and going home. And that was kind of just like I felt so like defeated in the moment of it because I was just like, this just sucks that my stomach is like yet again keeping me from something else. But I ended up having to just be like, but it did allow me to like, it went through 3 days of Stagecoach and it went through 2 days of Nashville where it felt great. And so like, you know what, if it's one night that I've got to miss out on, then like that's fine. It's held up for the most part, a lot more than I think I could expect it to. But the drinking part, I'd say, was probably the hardest for me in Nashville.
yeah, we are not used to drinking 3 days in a row, like multiple drinks a day. And at some point, your body is just like, please stop,
Yeah.
please stop. And so, also a big thing, knowing your body, knowing, hey, I'm going to have 2 drinks a day and not 4 or 5 drinks a day. Also, but in the moment, you're having fun.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's hard. And we did miss you on Saturday night, but I knew like if you're leaving, like I knew your stomach hurt so bad that it wouldn't have been enjoyable for you to be there
Yeah,
anyway. And so I'm glad that you were able to get rest and enjoy the other 2 days for
I got to
sure.
hear all the fun stories afterwards. So.
Yeah, that's what photos and videos are for. Yikes. But yeah, we had a great time, and just really preparing for the trip ahead of time helps too.
Yeah.
And we make it work, and we still have so much fun. And our moms and our friends are so good about it, and they know.
Hmm.
And Cecily and I were the ones who pretty much like planned the trip. A lot of it. We're like, hey, we're going to go to this restaurant. Is that okay? And so we were
Hmm.
able to like kind of be ahead of the game.
Yeah. It was a cool thing too when I like was telling everyone like, hey, like I'm gonna go home, like I don't feel good. Like every single one of my friends like was like, oh, like is it your stomach? Like they weren't like, oh, you're too drunk or you had too much to drink. It was just like, oh, is your stomach okay? Like, does your stomach hurt? And like that was their first thought. And like, I don't know, it was a cool feeling for me of like, that's so sweet that like that is my friend's like reaction to me saying like I don't feel good. Is they're like, oh, your stomach hurts. Like, and they just like they know. And I was so that was like also nice of just like it's okay. Like these things do happen and like it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, they're super, super good and like supportive about it, which is nice
Yeah.
and puts less like stress on you, I guess, in a way. You don't want to
Yeah.
be like, oh, not try to be a party pooper. They get it. They're awesome.
Mhm. I think
So,
it'll be
for,
really funny. Sorry to interrupt you. I think it'll be really funny. I go to see my doctor tomorrow for like, I haven't seen him in quite a while to give like an update on like how things are going, whatever. And I think it'll be funny when he'll be like, how are you? Whatever. And I'm explaining stuff. And then I'm like, yeah, like we've been traveling a ton because it's one thing like I know he doesn't do a lot because of like stuff with his health. And so I think it'll be really interesting. He's probably going to be like, oh, that's like you're okay. Because
yeah,
we
we
are in
went
a travel group.
we were gone like five, what, on like 5 trips, 4 or 5 trips within the span of 8 weeks. It was
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
So grateful that we were able to experience everything and we had an amazing time, but we were
Hmm.
just, it was a lot. And when you're traveling, you just don't have as much control. over all of the ingredients that are going into the foods, over if
Yeah.
your airplane is going to get delayed and you're going to have to sit on the runway for 2 hours and not have food. Like just things that you can't control, but that you can do your best to prepare for in a way.
Yeah.
So we're getting better at it, but
Yeah.
the
Even like
challenge for
eating
sure.
at the airport and like you're really good about like you'll bring in a salad or we'll bring in some sort of food so that you don't have to like eat something there necessarily.
I did bring in a salad. I'll like
Mhm.
pack a salad at home or I'll stop on my way to the airport, get a salad, and then because you can bring food in and I'll bring in apples and almond butter.
Yeah.
Because I know that the airport doesn't have the best options. And if I can control what I'm eating and if I have that option, then I'm going to choose that option.
Yeah.
So we try.
hmm But kind of like before, I don't remember when what timeline yours was, but kind of before, I think Stagecoach, in between like spring break and Stagecoach, my hormones finally started to kind of like work themselves out some. Like, yeah, literally, like we put in all the work for something at least. So I finally got a period some point in between then. And that was so rewarding because I was like, oh my gosh, like the work that we are putting in of like changing things with our diet, like changing lifestyle stuff, working out, like trying to like work on not letting stress take over, whatever, like is definitely working. I think that I since then have probably thrown my body off some more with the stress of finals, with Stagecoach, with Nashville, with it all. But before that, it was very promising of like the supplements I'm taking are working. Like all of this is working because I could see some of the changes like finally showing up in my body.
Yes, we had a super exciting last month, I guess I would say. Both you and I. I also got my period. I was so excited. I was on the airplane traveling back um to school and I was like literally dancing in the airport bathroom or in the airplane bathroom. I was dancing. I had the biggest smile on my face. I'm like, guys, and I practically told the whole world. I was so excited because it had been 2 years
Wow.
since I had a full period and it I was just so excited and knowing that everything's working. So it's super rewarding, like you said, just to know that the effort that you're doing and all the work you're putting in is paying off. So
Yeah.
super big thing and hopefully it comes here in the next like week and a half. But
Mhm.
I know it'll take a little bit of time before it becomes fully regular.
Yeah.
But I just like want to encourage all of the girls out there who it is not normal to have an irregular period. And there are
Mhm.
things, for the most part, it doesn't work for everyone, but for a majority of people, there are things that you can do in your life, things that you can implement, stuff that you can take out to really help control and calm your hormones. And I just want to encourage those girls out there that it is possible and you can do it. It takes hard work, it's a lot of change, but it's so rewarding to know that your body is strong enough to do it on its own and you don't need a pill to
Mhm.
induce it. And you don't need, you get so defeated when these doctors keep telling you
Yeah.
to do certain things, but for a majority of girls, you can do it on your own. And so
Mhm.
it's super rewarding when you finally get there.
I'd say it's even defeating this, like sometimes in the process too. Like even like I got it last month, but then it didn't come this month, and so I was kind of like, oh, like okay, like I was hoping this would start to kick off it being regular, but also it is so rewarding when you see those final things start working. And like it's so rewarding when my stomach's feeling great for like a week, and I'm like, oh, like this is so amazing, and so it's so worth it when like you see your body starts function properly. You're like, oh my gosh, this is so wild and so cool.
Yep, we did it. So that was a super exciting update that we could not wait to share on the pod. Could
Yeah.
not wait to share. We were like, we need to record this episode right now so everyone can know because we're super happy about it.
I can't wait for all
Um,
of our guy friends to listen to this episode.
they're gonna be like, really? I'm like, yeah, it's a huge deal. Thank you. Thank you. But we also wanted to really touch on going through a lot of hard things with eating a certain way in your health, how we were able to manage living on campus and in the
Yeah.
dorms, because it's super challenging when some of your only options are eating at the dining hall on campus and the companies that bring the food in, they use the crappiest oil possible. They're not using
Mhm.
high quality meat. They have to feed a lot of people in a budget. And so making that adjustment was super hard. And I think, Cicely, you should definitely talk about your freshman year and how you did that. I didn't start making really changes until my sophomore year. So, how did you handle eating in the dining hall, really freshman year to begin with?
Yeah, I'd say even going back to when I was looking at schools, I knew because I really started working on stuff my senior year with my doctor, I kind of knew that I needed to like keep in mind I was going to be need to eat like a certain way and probably avoid certain things. And so I kept that in mind when looking at schools. And I was so happy that our school had a dining hall, like a little restaurant in one of the dining halls that I was able to eat at. I remember looking at Boston College and thinking about like I loved that school, but you would have to live in the dorms all 4 years there. And you'd be eating at the dining hall all 4 years, and the dining hall wasn't great. And I was like, that isn't going to work for me. And so it honestly went back to even looking and to realizing, like, okay, like I have an option if I go to this school and like I'll be able to eat something because they avoid the seven main food allergies. Coming then to school was definitely hard at first because said restaurant does not do a great, like they're really good about avoiding all of that, but the food's not great.
No,
They make the same thing every week and you get tired of it and it's like this is kind of all I can eat. So freshman year I would switch off between that and then eating at Chick-fil-A every once in a while. And we
mm,
also had like a smoothie place in our rec center. And so I would go and get like smoothies there for breakfast and stuff. But I had a blender in my dorm, so I would try to make a bunch of smoothies in there, or like oatmeal for breakfast, which I don't eat anymore, but like I would eat that in the dorms. I had quite a few microwavable things in the freezer to eat. For snacks, I would try to run out to Target or down the street to Kroger and get like a few of the Siete brands or like all the brands that I knew I could eat. That way, I always kind of had a backup option if I didn't like what that one restaurant had for dinner that night, or the portion sizes that they gave were super small. So often I was still hungry. So I would go home and make almost a second dinner. I think I
yep.
made like a baked potato and like would throw like rotisserie chicken on top of it quite a few times. But I really took use of the mini fridge that we had in the microwave because that was super, super helpful freshman year.
It was huge. Yeah, especially when you have early morning classes and you're going to be
Yeah.
gone all day, making sure that you have a breakfast in the morning.
Hmm.
Um, the fridge and the microwave and the freezer was awesome. We had a Kroger within walking distance of our dorm halls. So I would go probably once every other week. I'd walk down and then I'd walk back to my dorm with all my groceries because we didn't have a car freshman year.
Yep.
And you make it work. And some students did Instacart too, which is really
Hmm.
awesome. Like you could Instacart or have Target delivered right to your dorm. They have awesome meal options. There are a few brands that are much more health conscious with their
Hmm.
frozen foods. I really love Tattoo Chef is an awesome one. And then Applegate has like frozen egg bites that has a ton of protein. It has veggies, it has sausage, and you can just throw them in the microwave. I would do that. You weren't technically supposed to have an air fryer or a toaster in your dorm room,
Yeah.
but we did, and a lot of kids did. So you could throw in like a piece of gluten-free toast with some peanut
Hmm.
butter and cut up a banana. And you could make that in your dorm room. The smoothie was a really big one. Rotisserie chickens, you do have to be careful with. They like to add a lot of added ingredients. I know Whole Foods has a really clean one, and maybe Sprouts, but getting that once a week and shredding it up, and I could have a bag of lettuce with the rotisserie chicken and a clean salad dressing, and I could bring that to school with me for the day if I was being out. And then a lot of snacks are a big thing, kind of like we talked about on the airplane. That
Yeah.
really got us through. And then also going to the one restaurant at the dining hall. They did the best they could. We just had
Yeah.
to ask for extra protein and know that we couldn't go eat on Thursdays because that was always like the worst meal of the week or
Yeah.
Saturdays. We never would eat there on a Saturday kind of thing.
Hmm. Yeah. And then I think sophomore year, I got even better about like snacks and stuff because you had a car, which made it a lot easier for us to go to Sprouts and Trader Joe's and get like better groceries. And I did a lot better with like I would cut up like peppers and carrots at the beginning of the week so that I could eat them with hummus, and like my snack game like leveled up, I guess, a little bit sophomore year. And then we also had better kitchens in our sorority houses. And so from time to time we would be able to actually cook dinner. I probably made dinner like once every other week, once a week. Um, and would make lunch pretty often, was able to make breakfast every single morning and switched to like
Yep.
waffles with almond butter and honey because I had a toaster on the third floor. And so it was just things like that that was started to become easier sophomore year because we had more access to a kitchen and bigger space to even like prep our veggies for the week and stuff.
100%. I'd agree that the cut up veggies were a huge thing. If and even now, I'm trying to do a little bit more meal prep,
Mm.
washing and cutting your veggies, washing and cutting your fruit on that Sunday or Monday when you get back from the grocery store, and then
Yeah.
keeping them in your glass Tupperware so they are ready to go all week long. And it makes it easier, quicker, and you're going to be way more likely to grab those healthier options when they're right there and they're
Hmm.
easy. So that is a big thing is trying to kind of meal prep with your snacks. Cut up some apples, portion out some almond butter, and then you can just grab them and go, and you have these healthy, easy snacks ready for you. And that's totally possible to do in the dorm.
Yeah, I noticed sophomore year, and that was kind of just the location of our dorms were farther from like the academic part of campus. And so I would eat more snacks if I portioned them all in like smaller baggies at the beginning of the week. And then I could just grab them with me and have them with me while I was on campus on the academic side, because like we said, like we could really only eat at that one restaurant. And that made it really hard when we were for lunch, like if we were on the other side of campus or if we just didn't have time to come back for dinner because we had a night class or something like that. Like that definitely made it difficult at times, but it was a lot easier when I had all these like snacks already prepped and ready to go and snacks that had protein in them too, which was super important.
Yes, I'd say both. I really, my sophomore year, tried to make sure that I had a gap in my day for
Yeah.
lunch. If I could schedule out my classes that way, both of us did. I'd have
Hmm.
a few morning classes and a few afternoon classes. And so Cicely and I think for sure every Tuesday, Thursday, we would meet at the restaurant
Yeah.
together, eat, and that was the hardest thing about being like gluten and dairy free and kind of having those food restrictions is scheduling out. Okay, I need to wake up this early before I go to class so I can make a protein full good breakfast. And then I need to make sure I have enough time to walk back and forth across campus, portion out time to eat in between classes. And the same thing's going to happen when we work full-time jobs, but
Yeah.
it's so worth it and you feel so much better when you are getting those protein full, nutrient dense meals, you feel so much better going throughout the day. So it's so worth it. Plan out your time, schedule out when you're going to eat, when you're going to prep your meals, and it's super, super helpful.
Yeah. Even now, like living off campus, we both do that and we both shop. I normally shop on like a Monday morning and get all my food for the week, and I'll meal prep normally all my breakfast and lunches for the week so that they're just ready to go. And I do the same thing with my schedule. I schedule that I know I have time to eat lunch. So I'm not in classes from like 12 to 3. Like I know I'm going to have a period of time to be able to eat at some point because that is super important to us just fixing stuff with our hormones and keeping stuff aligned in our stomachs and our guts. And so just kind of prioritizing those things, which is definitely really hard times in college.
For sure. And it's something that takes time and you kind of learn how to do it as you go on. But we hope that we were able to share just a few little tips, few little tricks about what we do and what we've done in the past to kind of make it easier for y'all and our listeners. It's a challenge, but it's worth it. And I turn a lot to like Pinterest or Instagram to find easy recipes that can be meal prepped and heated up quickly too. So you can kind of change it up because it's not fun to eat the same thing every single day or every single week. And so finding new recipes, trying new things. Cicely and I are constantly texting and DMing each other
All
recipes
the
and
time.
screenshotting, like, hey, what are you making for breakfast this week? Because I
Uh-huh.
need ideas. And so finding someone to who eats the same way and you can balance it off, or we'll eat meals together. Cicely will invite me over for dinner, and that's one less meal that I need to worry about one week. And then she can come over to my house the next week. And so it's super fun to do that, try new things too.
Yeah. Yeah, we hope that too, just like us talking about this kind of stuff can just resonate with people that are struggling with it and that are like, yeah, this is hard. And I think often I was thinking about the fact that like it to everyone that follows us on Instagram or anything right now, like it looks like, oh my gosh, we just went on spring break into Stagecoach in Nashville. Like this is so awesome. Like they're doing all of this, but like I remember always seeing people like that and being like, well, how are they doing that? How are they eating that way when they say that they're doing this and how are they doing that? And so I hope that this is helpful too for people just to realize that like, yeah, that's what it looks like on Instagram, but like there's it's still hard for us at times and like we were able to make it work and here's how we did it. And like everyone can make it work in some way, even though it can be difficult.
For sure, there's always kind of a substitute that you can make
Yeah.
to fit within your dietary restrictions. So hopefully it was helpful. I really enjoyed this episode. It was super fun
Yeah.
to record. If you guys ever need recommendations on products we like, recipes we like, totally DM us on Instagram. We would love to send you all of our notes and everything that we have accumulated over the years for sure.
Yeah. And we can't wait to keep continuously refining our lives with you guys. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.